Steve Jobs was one known to say, "I think everybody in this country should learn how to program a computer because it teaches you how to think." Hi everyone, Ophelia Pastrana here, and this is Platzi courses where I would pretty much jump in every week just to talk about computing, learning about computing, and anything that has to do with the world of development and developing software. Now, today's software pretty much has taken over the world, and everything that we do is computer-driven or accompanied by computer or designed by computer, or is just pretty much something that has to go through a machine. And rather than running away from computers, what I would just rather do is just to learn how to use them properly. And the way you do this is you actually go and learn code. The basic knowledge of how to work code comes from any kind of sources, and it's just pretty much readily available everywhere. Now, coding isn't particularly easy to learn, but that's exactly why it's so valuable. Even if you have no plans to become a software developer, if you spend a few weeks or a few months learning how to code, and I'll guarantee it that it will sharpen your ability to troubleshoot and to solve problems because of the way the code is structured and the way it makes you think. Probably that's what Steve Jobs was talking about. It's not about solving everything with software, it's just the way you think about solving problems. Now, it's no surprise that younger people today are fleeing to non-traditional educational systems so they can advance their career without actually sacrificing the time it takes to go to school. Now, a lot of people today are choosing non-traditional education, and the reason why this happens has to do with the fact that no one has the time today to leave work or just pretty much pause your life so you can go to school and you can dedicate yourself entirely to learning how to code. And there's also something about the fact that you have to pay a lot of money to be in school, whereas the way the software development market works, you can pretty much expect to have to deal with new software on the day you graduate. And of course, this is Platzi. We are pro online education. But nonetheless, I wanted to go over a little bit the pros and cons of learning online and the way that you can make this work for you. First thing that you have to take into consideration is the convenience of studying at home. You always have anywhere you can be, but you can't be as comfortable as you are when you are at home. Which also means you don't have to commute or travel. You don't have to go to campus, and you don't have to find any geographic location, or you don't have any constraints as far as where you are. And as a matter of fact, since you can learn online in a lot of ways to go online, you can actually connect from your phone, from another person's computer, or you can travel a lot while you learn. Now, there's another thing about learning online, and it is you're not verbally constricted. You can actually lead any virtual discussion and talk to people that are doing things rather than having to wait till you find an instructor that will teach you how to work whatever it is you're learning. People who learn online frequently quote themselves as saying that there is not a lot to be learned unless you're actually doing it. And this is why online education is student-centered. Students are expected to read pretty much all of their classmates' contributions, but you can also engage them, and you can build work teams with other people that will allow you to do whatever it is you're doing in real life, since a lot of the work that is done on online education is pretty much visible by a lot of people. It's not as if you're doing some sort of work that you're handing over to a teacher. And since it's all online, teachers don't have to move themselves to a physical classroom either, which allows for easy access to a lot of talent. Your teachers could be someone who is very talented in a certain area, but he is in Boston while you're somewhere in, like, Brazil. Online education is also less expensive to a degree. Generally, these courses will cost less than regular classrooms or academic or trade school courses. And since you're not moving yourself to any sort of campus or university, you will not have to pay any housing costs other than what you're already paying to house yourself. The best thing is you can also work, you can learn from work. All you have to do is just pretty much be there at the given time. Understandably so, since you don't get to see your classmates, as they don't get to see you. It's fairly safe to say that all these online education areas are probably discrimination-free. No one will look at race, sex, sexual orientation, religion, nationality, age, dress, or physical appearance, and whatnot. So, is this something that you want to do for yourself? Well, online courses are usually better suited for people who are introverted, or people who learn through visual cues and require more time in understanding the material. So, this will pretty much let you go over as many times as needed, especially if classes are recorded. As far as what the teachers get, they have access to creative teaching. From not having any sort of easy way to connect with the students, but you're pretty much limited as a teacher to make your material easily understandable, and it has to be very, very digested. it's fairly regular to see students that will actually make work based on your same examples at the same time as you're teaching because they just want to try it out. This would definitely not happen in a physical classroom. Because usually you would have students try it out at some point and whatnot, but they have to be there looking at you. Now, so that's the good stuff. What about the bad stuff? Well, you could also think about online education as a way to limit your social interaction, and for some people this might probably be something that would be taken as a negative. This becomes very visible in self-paced courses, and this will also pretty much limit your local networking opportunities. The people that you meet are probably not even in your city, so there's not a lot you can do if you actually want to work physically with someone. And then, of course, this means that it will be really complicated to find someone that you can, let's say, party, go out, talk to, and do all these things that you do when you actually go to college, which pretty much means you are limited to doing what it is you show up to do. One of the other issues that arise when you learn online is the effectiveness of assessment. As a teacher, you're limited to people that are learning from memory testing because there is a strict limitation on how much you can actually see people working. And for reasons that have to do with the way the platform is set up, you can actually connect students doing something with a grading system that is far from probably a multiple choice exam and whatnot, which is very problematic for instructors. Nonetheless, this does not mean that it's a universal case, but you do have a situation where you don't have a one-on-one connection with the student. Hence, students that learn online must be very self-motivated and disciplined. Nonetheless, the facts are that there are always advantages and disadvantages to every type of learning environment. Should you learn online? Well, if it has to do with computer science, maybe what you do learn online is how to work with new technologies and the way these technologies are being developed. You might find that a work group is actually generated around a certain platform, and it only exists while the actual software is being developed. Let's say you join an open source framework and you want to work with people that are already there. There is no school that will make you do this in a way that is so effective that it works as it is done online. Nonetheless, if you want to learn about the actual nuts and bolts and the gears and the things behind your computer, you might probably be better suited to go to school and learn about computer science in a way that is very structured and that will help you see why things happen. But you don't exactly walk out of a computer science degree ready to work in a startup, fast-paced software developing industry unless school is kind of centered for that, in which case it's always best to pair offline learning with online learning. I, of course, have to tell you that Platzi is the best place to learn online. And we do have a very strict method of helping people grab direct access to their teachers and their peers. And the way we do things is we also allow for a lot of continuing study. Once you begin, you can stay in the system and keep talking to your peers and continue your development. While we're not exactly looking to give you access to one class, and then you can stay there as so long as you just do that one class at all. Now, just bear in mind that nowadays it's a lot easier to find certain certifications for the software that you want to work with, and this would probably be a better way to pad up and fill up your resume than actually having an actual degree that will not exactly prove that you have the capability of learning how to work with teams, building teams, and learning how to work with software that is current today, which is pretty much why online education will be here forever. And it is also the case why online education will also iterate faster than what you're doing when you do offline education. And I hope this helps you make an informed decision. You might also want to grab a look at code.org and see what people are doing when they learn how to code, because it's usually when you learn how to solve problems that you can make a lot of things happen. I'm Ophelia Pastrana, and thanks for watching. Let me know what you want to see for next week here in the comments.